Hey everyone, welcome to the channel, or welcome back to the channel. This is Living in Columbus, Ohio, and today I have another incredible episode for you guys as we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of living in Columbus, Ohio and the surrounding areas, and this is the updated 2022 version. Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Brad Winter, and if this is your first time to the channel, thank you for tuning in. If you have tuned in before, thank you for coming back. If you could hit the subscribe button below, you click on the bell, and you could give us a like. That would do wonders for us and the algorithm that YouTube puts out, so people get notified every single time we do a new video. And in these videos, we're gonna talk about everything that you need to know about living, eating, breathing, working, and playing in the Columbus metro and surrounding areas. Now, I am a licensed real estate agent in the state of Ohio, and as much as I love doing these videos for you guys, I would love nothing more to help you with your real estate needs. So if you're thinking about moving or relocating here, or heck, even if you live here, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text, and if you want, you can even shoot me an email. Whatever you gotta do, make sure you do it, because I'm gonna have your back when it comes to all things real estate here in Columbus or the surrounding areas. All right guys, pro number one of living in Columbus, Ohio in 2022 is the affordability. Columbus ranks in the top 10 of most affordable cities in the United States. So living here in Columbus, I've been here my entire life. I can tell you that it is very affordable compared to other major cities in the United States. When you take in factors such as your overall cost of living, cost of goods, your housing, your healthcare, your utilities, all these things kind of make up that affordability factor. And Columbus is such a great place to be. I can't tell you how many times people that move here from Chicago, New York, California, and they cannot believe how much further their money will go here than where they're coming from. So again, I deal with a lot of people moving and relocating here, and I can tell you that Columbus, even though we have a ton of expansion and things are growing, it is still a very affordable city to live in. One of the biggest things that I find when it comes to people talking about affordability here in Columbus is that they're able to kind of relax a little bit. Their work life isn't as stressful because they know the money that they're making, it's going to be able to provide them a lot more living in Columbus or the surrounding areas here in Central Ohio than it is maybe in LA or Chicago or Texas, where they're coming from. And so I think that's a huge burden off of people's backs, knowing that, hey, yes, I'm living in a different city. I'm not sure if I love all four seasons or this or that, but one thing is I know my money's going to take me a lot further, and I'm going to get more bang for my buck living here than other places in the country. All right, so a con about living in the Columbus, Ohio area is the weather. And I've talked about it, probably almost, I bring it up in almost every video, it seems like. I've talked about it pretty in depth last year, the pros and cons, or what to expect when you're moving to Columbus videos, as the weather is super unpredictable. Yesterday, it was, August, today's August, August 18th, yesterday was August 17th, and it was 70 degrees, today it's 90 degrees. It fluctuates all the time, and so if you're not used to that, a lot of people may not like that. In the winter time, I can tell you it is gonna be gloomy, it's gonna be cold. One day it's gonna rain, the next day it's gonna snow, and then the sun's gonna come out and you're gonna think about putting on shorts. That's just the way it is. I've lived here my entire life. 35 years I've lived in the Columbus, Ohio area, and I can tell you that one thing is for certain, that the weather will be so unpredictable that it's almost laughable at times. So that's definitely a con about living here. If you live here, you're used to it. It's no big deal. You just kind of get over it. If you're not from here, if you haven't experienced a winter or a spring or a super humid summer, you should prepare yourself. All right, let's get back to a pro, because after all, I love this city and nobody likes to talk about the cons. But anyway, another pro about living here in Columbus is the job opportunities. We have a super healthy job market that entails healthcare, manufacturing, tech, and if you really think about it, Columbus is still a farm town in some ways. So if you're into agriculture, you live 30, 45 minutes away from downtown and you're in farm country. So we have an incredible, healthy job economy, and it's only improving, I guess is maybe the word, or maybe it's accelerating. How about that? That's a better word. If you guys don't know, Intel, which is a massive, massive corporation, recently just announced this past January that they are building a $20 billion fab manufacturing facility for the microchips. That investment can lead up to $100 billion over the next 10 years. They have broke ground. That project is taking off, and they're talking about 10,000 total jobs from start to finish to kind of get that project up and running. So there is just a ton of job opportunities here. We're being called the Silicon Valley of the Midwest, so there's a ton of tech going on here. We have venture capital that supports that tech, and then obviously with Ohio Health and Ohio State, they are two massive healthcare giants in the healthcare industry, and they are right here in Columbus. So tons of opportunities. So if you're thinking about moving here and you're worried about jobs, hey, get on the internet, Google jobs in Ohio, and you're going to find a ton of different opportunities for you. Another con about living here in Columbus is, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, our public transportation is not that great. We're pretty far behind the times when you come to some major cities that are in the United States and what they have to offer as far as public transportation. So we have COTA, which is the bus line, but we don't have subways, we don't have trolleys, we don't have trains. You're not gonna see a ton of taxis. It's very limited, I guess, as you wanna call it, as far as what your public transportation is. And those bus routes, they don't go too far out into the suburbs. They kind of stay a lot in the Columbus Metro and that 270 highway, loop that you see on the map. It's a little bit of a pain. A lot of people that are used to living, maybe in New York or Chicago, and they can live in the suburb, grab a train, and then work downtown, they don't have that option. So sometimes people actually have to buy cars when they get here that maybe they've never had a car, or maybe they're a one-car family in Chicago. They move here, they want to live in Dublin or Old Tangy schools, and all of a sudden then they have to buy another car because there's no public transportation to get them downtown to their job. So I do think that's a con. I'm hoping that, in the next 3 to 5 years, as Columbus keeps growing and we have this huge explosion of businesses that are moving here because of the Intel news, that we're going to be forced almost to have kind of some of those options for people, because we're kind of behind the times when it comes to our public transportation and the offerings that we give the community. All right, con number 3 about living in Columbus, Ohio is our drivers. We rank in the top 10 of worst drivers in the country. I mean, that is absolutely terrible, and I can attest to it. It's awful. I mean, people, they don't know how to drive in the rain. They don't know how to drive in the snow. They seem to not care about the traffic that's next to you. It just happened to me today as I'm coming down here. I'm in Jeffrey Park, down in Italian Village, and I'm driving here on the highway, and a group of kids just cut me off in their car. Didn't see me behind them or to the side of them. They just decided they were gonna get over and take the lane over. So again, it is not fun being, in a city that has bad drivers. Something you kind of got to get used to. I would say if you're a good driver, definitely be on the lookout. If you're a bad driver, stay clear. If you're a new driver, unfortunately, this is what your life is going to be while living here. So you got to pay attention, and hopefully one day it'll get better, but it's kind of been like this forever. So don't count on it. All right, let's get back to some pros about living in Columbus, and let's talk about our food scene. After all, it is a huge thing about living in the Columbus metro and surrounding areas. We, over the last decade, have grown into, I'm gonna use some air quotes here, as a foodie city. And a lot of publications has written about Columbus and the chefs that are here. We have Cameron Mitchell, who's a massive, well-known owner of restaurants. There's probably 30 or 40 restaurants restaurants here in Central Ohio that he owns. He owns some in LA and New York. He's from here originally, so he's very involved in the restaurant community. That's a big name. And then we've got a lot of great restaurants popping up, not only just downtown, but also they're starting to expand out to areas like Hilliard and Dublin with Bridge Park. You've got uptown Westerville. The hope is New Albany starts getting some of these restaurants as well, because with Intel moving out there's a lot of people that are moving and they're going to need more restaurants and all those good things. But if you are a person that, maybe you live in Chicago or New York or Philly or Miami and you love food, you love having options, and you're worried about coming to Columbus, yes, we're a farm town, we're a flyover, it's the Midwest, you think it's dull, you think it's boring, but I can promise you, every client that I have had that is relocated here cannot stop talking about the variation of food and the quality of the food that they get when they go out to eat, which I think is super cool. It kind of like puts a little sense of pride in our community that people really love what these chefs and restaurant owners are putting out. So again, if you are somebody who loves food, such as myself, if you're worried about that, concerned about it, you're unsure about it, do some homework. Google just, Columbus, Ohio food scene, and you're gonna see tons of publications from the New York Times, from Thrillist, from other major media outlets doing articles on the Columbus food scene. We're also, and I don't know a ton about this, but we're also kind of like the test capital for food. So a lot of like fast food chains or restaurant chains will open up here in Columbus and open up multiple locations, and they'll test out how it does before going nationwide, which is super cool. And that might be like a Wendy's effect, because Wendy's corporate is here, and maybe they have some tie-ins with that, and it helps with bringing those companies here. I'm not quite sure how that all works, but I thought it was cool because it validates that, hey, they think we're kind of a foodie city as well. So again, that's a huge con, is our food scene. All right, the fourth con on our list is property taxes. And I'm actually gonna throw just taxes in general on there, but let's talk about property taxes first. Columbus ranks as one of the highest property taxed cities and areas, because we're going to talk about not only Columbus Metro, but the surrounding areas such as Dublin, Hilliard, New Albany, Powell, the surrounding suburbs that you see on the map. Those areas get hit really hard with property taxes. And the reason why, from just the little that I know about property taxes, is it goes to support those communities and the schools. The schools are a big thing. There are a lot of schools, and for instance, Hilliard, you have 3 high schools and you have a ton of middle schools and elementary schools, so they have to have money to support those school systems. So that's why your property taxes are going to be higher for the most part. Now, if you are not used to paying high property taxes, you want to do a little homework on that. You can actually get on like the columbus.gov website, look up property taxes. It'll tell you exactly how to figure those, or an estimation at least you can figure on what property taxes would be on a $300,000 or $400,000 house. This is a big adjustment for a lot of people when I work with them, because they're coming from areas where, yes, the real estate is a lot higher as far as what it costs to buy something than Columbus, but their taxes aren't nearly as high. So then they're kind of surprised that, oh, on a $400,000 house, I'm paying this much in taxes as well. So you definitely want to think about that, something to consider. Obviously, you can talk to me more in depth about it, or you can get on the columbus.gov website and do a little bit more homework. But we also get hit with a lot of taxes here just in general with, you have your income tax at a federal, state, local level. You also have sales tax from a state and county level and city level. So, nobody likes paying taxes, right? Let's just call it what it is. But it's just something that you need to consider when you're thinking about moving here, is maybe you need to negotiate a higher salary or a higher bonus or commission rate or something to maybe offset some of those taxes if you're not used to it. So again, property taxes, huge con. Taxes in general, they all suck. Nobody likes them. That's another con. But let's go to a pro. We've been talking about too many bad things. All right, pro number 5, and this is the last pro that we're going to talk about for the day, is a mix of country and city life all in one. And what I mean by that is, Columbus, we are dead center in the middle of Ohio. If you look at a map, it's 2 hours of Cleveland, 2 hours Cincinnati, 2 hours in Toledo. So we're dead center. And then everything on the north, south, east, and west sides of us, it's farmland. We get this kind of stigma that we're a farm community still, or, you know, we're a flyover state, whatever it may be. A lot of that is kind of true, but we have a incredible city life. You know, I'm standing in Jeffrey Park, which is an Italian village. It's a huge development, and this place is incredible to live. You've got apartments, you've got condos, you've got townhomes, you've got breweries and pools and workout facilities, and you're a quarter mile from downtown. So you have a lot of these pockets of the city that give you kind of that urban life, and a lot of people that live in major metro places love that. It's not as congested as living in New York or Chicago, but they can still walk to things, and there's still this buzz and vibe about living in the city. And then if you want to go and live out on a farm, you could get to one in 30 minutes or 40 minutes. And you could still work downtown, or you could still, if you want a condo downtown and then you want a farm for retirement, you can have that. Or if you love the city so much and on the weekends you want to find a cool Airbnb, or you want to go hiking, or just want to get away for horseback riding, maybe pumpkin picking, or go to an apple orchard 20-30 minutes away, you can have all of that. So when I say this is a mix of country and city life, is you can have that city kind of urban feel and fun and energy, and then you could go to total paradise and have a farm or a house out in the country and not hear a soul. And that's all within 20 or 30 minutes of the downtown area, which I think is super cool. A lot of flexibility, and people really love that about our city. Is there's so many people like myself that have lived downtown forever, and then after a while we're like, let's go somewhere else. Let's go out in the country and have some land and some peace, and be around nature and all those things. So again, I think it's a huge pro about our city, and I think it's one of the best kept secrets. So if you don't know that, now you know. All right, guys, we're gonna wrap up this episode with a con, and that is road construction. I've said it before, I'm gonna keep saying it. The road construction here sucks. It's terrible. And I know every city has its road construction. You all probably agree with me that every place has this, and you're never gonna escape it. But I feel like ever since that I've lived here, obviously I've grown up here and all those things, is the road construction in Columbus just never ends. There's always a bridge being built, a highway being expanded to more lanes, a road being turned into a roundabout, a pothole in the city being filled. You cannot escape it. I have popped 2 of my wife's tires on her car by potholes because we need them filled. And we have road construction everywhere. So it's literally comical when I talk about road construction and how it irks me. Maybe you can even tell. It makes me so mad. It almost ruins my day how much construction there is. Get ready for it. If you're used to it, you're just gonna get more of it. All right, guys, there you have it. There is the updated pros and cons of living in the Columbus Metro or surrounding areas 2022 version. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to hear your comments. Make sure you leave them below. Make sure you tap that like button, because that's gonna actually help people get notified when we do these videos so they can learn about the Columbus Metro and surrounding areas. If you need to get a hold of me, make sure you give me a call, shoot me a text message, send me an email, whatever you need to do, make sure you do it, because I'm gonna have your back. We're moving or relocating to our incredible city. And if you're already here, let's go grab coffee. All right, guys, until next time.